All right, let's dive into a simple but honestly a really powerful framework that's designed to cut right through all the noise of being an entrepreneur. The whole idea here is to take that feeling of constant chaos and turn it into strategic, resilient control. And we're going to do it by mastering the 3 Fs. I mean, does this sound familiar? You feel like you're a professional plate spinner, right? You've got product over here, marketing, sales, customer support, and you just know one of those plates is about to wobble and crash to the floor. You started this whole thing with this incredible, brilliant idea, and now you're just tired. So if you're sitting there nodding along to this list, trust me, you are not alone. That never-ending to-do list, that constant knot in your stomach about money, look, this is what we call chaotic reactivity. You're not building, you're just reacting. And when all your energy goes into putting out fires, you've got nothing left to actually build the empire you set out to create. That, right there, is the fast track to burnout. And let's be really, really clear about something. This isn't just hustle culture. It's not the price you have to pay. This chaotic state, it's a genuine threat to your business. You know, the most promising startups, they usually don't die because the idea was bad. They wither away because the founders, people just like you, got pulled in a million different directions at once. So the big question is, how do you fight that? How do you find that signal in all the noise? Well, what if I told you there's a mental model, kind of like a warrior mindset, that acts as your compass, your fuel gauge, and your roadmap, all rolled into one? Well, there is, and it's a framework built on 3 simple core pillars that can absolutely change the game for you. Okay, so the first pillar, this is your compass. It's what sets your true north and just cuts through everything else. It's about finding an absolute, unbreakable focus. Next up, pillar number 2. This is your fuel. It's the lifeblood that keeps your engine running, right? This is all about mastering your funds. And the third one, this is the one we all fear. But you know what? It's the one we secretly need the most. This is your map. It doesn't just show you where the treasure is. It shows you where all the dead ends are. And that is failure. All right, let's really dive into this first F, focus. I'm going to say something that might sound a little crazy. In the early days of your venture, your attention is more valuable than your time, and it's even more valuable than your money. Seriously. Where you choose to direct your focus, that single decision determines whether your business is going to thrive or whether it's going to die. Look, we've all been told that multitasking is a superpower. It's not. It's a myth. It's really just task switching, and it absolutely demolishes your productivity. So how do you fight it? Well, here's a super simple but powerful tool, the Pomodoro technique. It forces you to do one thing and only one thing at a time. The psychology behind it is kind of brilliant. You create this short 25-minute window of urgency, which helps you bypass procrastination. You're basically building a little fortress around your mental energy. And if you want to take focus to a whole other level, check this out. This is Warren Buffett's 25-5 rule, and it's ruthless. Here's how it works. You list out your top 25 career or business goals. Then you circle the 5 most important ones. Now, here's the kicker. You take a good, hard look at the other 20. And those 20, they aren't your someday list. They are your avoid at all costs list. They're just interesting enough to distract you, but not important enough to actually matter. Brutal, but effective. See how that kind of ruthless focus ties directly into our second F, which is fund. And, you know, this isn't just about chasing venture capital or raising millions of dollars. It's about becoming a true master of your resources, whether you have a ton of them or you're just starting out scrappy. So let's start with bootstrapping. The name says it all, right? You're pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps. It is not glamorous, let me tell you. But the benefits? They are huge. For one, you keep 100% ownership of your company. But more than that, it forces a level of creativity and discipline that you just can't buy. You're forced to solve problems with your brain, with ingenuity, not just by throwing cash at them. And this really lays out the core trade-offs perfectly. Think of it this way. Bootstrapping gives you total control. Venture capital, on the other hand, can give you incredible speed. Now, neither path is automatically better than the other. The key is to be brutally honest with yourself and to understand exactly what you are signing up for with either choice.
Which brings us to a really crucial point. That big number you see on the screen, 75%, raising venture capital is not the finish line. It's not a guarantee of success. Think of it like this. VC money is like pouring gasoline on a fire, and according to research from Harvard, 75% of VC-backed startups still fail. So you have to be absolutely sure you've got a controlled, sustainable flame before you even think about adding that kind of fuel.
Okay, let's talk about the F word, the one that terrifies every single entrepreneur: failure. Here's the truth about entrepreneurship: if you're not failing, you're probably not pushing the boundaries hard enough. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a necessary, and I mean necessary, stepping stone on the path to success. And this is where the work of Dr. Carol Dweck is so critical. It all comes down to two mindsets. With the fixed mindset, failure feels like a final verdict on you as a person. It's damning. But with a growth mindset, failure is just a data point. It's information. And this isn't some feel-good mantra. It's a massive strategic advantage. A founder with a growth mindset doesn't just get over it. They run a postmortem. They ask, what was our hypothesis? What actually happened? And what can we learn from this? Every single setback becomes a structured lesson. And this quote from Thomas Edison, it's the perfect embodiment of that growth mindset. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Every single one of those failures wasn't an end. It was a lesson. Think of it as a tuition payment for your real-world business education. It's not a step back. It's progress. Okay, so this is all great in theory, right? Let's make it real. Let's look at how these three principles actually work together when the pressure is on. And there's no better story for this than the origin of Airbnb. It's a true masterclass in the three Fs.
So first up, focus. Airbnb had launched, but they were getting almost zero traction. They realized the problem wasn't their big idea. It was the crappy photos on the listings. So what did they do? Instead of building 100 new features, they narrowed their focus to that one single thing. They flew to New York, rented a nice camera, and went door to door taking beautiful pictures themselves. And guess what? Bookings doubled. The lesson here is incredible. Sometimes the biggest leap forward comes from focusing on one tiny, unglamorous detail that your customers actually care about.
All right, next, fund. They were deep in credit card debt. They'd been rejected by every single investor they talked to, so they had to bootstrap in probably the most creative way imaginable. During the 2008 election, they designed and sold these novelty cereal boxes, Obama O's and Captain McCain's, for $40 a box. And they raised just enough money, about $30,000, to keep the lights on. That's just pure, scrappy ingenuity. It proves that when your back is against the wall, your most valuable asset isn't a fancy pitch deck, it's your own creativity. And that brings us to the third F, failure. All those rejections from the VCs, that wasn't the end of their story. In fact, that failure is what forced them to get creative with the cereal boxes. And that tenacity, that refusal to die, that's what finally impressed an investor. So their failures actually became the ultimate proof of their resilience. And that's a key takeaway. For the right investors, seeing you survive repeated failure is way more impressive than seeing someone who's never been tested at all. Okay, so let's bring this all home. Because focus, fund, and failure, they aren't three separate ideas you can pick and choose from. You have to think of them as a deeply interconnected operating system for your entire business. If you neglect one, I promise you, it will always weaken the other two. A great way to think about it is like a three-legged stool. Each leg is absolutely essential for it to stand. Your focus is your compass. It tells you exactly where to go. Your fund is your fuel. It gives you the energy to make the journey. And failure. Failure is your map. It shows you all the roads to avoid. Your focus directs how you spend your funds. Your attitude toward failure determines how fast you learn. And having enough funds gives you the runway to maintain that focus. You see how it works? You take away any one of those legs, and the whole stool just collapses. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question. A challenge, really. Take a good, honest look at your own journey right now. Which of these three Fs needs your attention the most? Is it your focus? Is it your fund? Or is it your relationship with failure? Because picking just one of them to master first, well, that might just be the thing that changes everything for you.